everything we do from seed to bag comes from us. One of our main ingredients is hibiscus, and it's something that's very cultural between Drea and I, because the red drink of the hibiscus represents a drink that we drink in Nigeria, specifically northern Nigeria. It's called zobo, and it represents fertility and joy and happiness and celebration. And so that bright red color is just something that I really resonate with. Culturally, I think coming to the US, the red drink represents, I think personally, for the enslaved when they came here, that color red was probably something that they missed, because every African American has a palate that remembers home. And so I think that's where the whole idea of the red Kool-Aid comes from, the red drink, because looking at Drea and I, me from Africa and her African American, I always feel like everything we do with cooking and with seed saving and with tea making, it's a way of integrating both cultures together. My name is Halima Tusadia Uluwabukola Salazar. I am a farmer, a chef, and a seed keeper. I come from Nigeria, which is Western Africa, and I've been in the US now for a really long time.
My name is Drea Price, and I am originally from Chicago. That's where I was born, but I moved to Oxford when I was 7. This is where my dad and his family is from, and so my parents thought a nice little sleepy town would be a great place to raise kids. And I never went back to Chicago. My family moved like bit by bit back to Chicago. So they're all based there now, and I'm still in Oxford. I've been the one to stay the longest. I started out drinking coffee. So I was homeschooled by my grandma until we moved to Oxford. Um, so I would drink coffee with her in the mornings. She would always have this giant soup mug that she would drink coffee out of, and she would share it with me. And people always told me that drinking coffee would stunt my growth. So eventually I switched over to tea, and my grandma and I would drink tea together in the morning. And if I was feeling sick, she would make me a cup of tea. So I guess since I was old enough to drink out of a cup, I've been drinking tea or things like that. And living in the South, I never converted over to the ice sweet tea gang that they have here. I am very much still a hot tea girl. We came together to form Just Stevia when we were growing herbs on this farm that we met at in 2019. It was an herb farm, so it had lots of mint, basil, oregano, thyme, just about any herb, you name it, it grows. And it was like, with all these things that we have, we should make tea. And then one day she tried the pure stevia leaf, and she was like, Drea, this is it. We have to make tea. So we started drying herbs just casually, and then a couple of days later, my cousin Tammy Herod was having a black entrepreneurial farmers market. Well, not farmers market, but a market. And she was like, Drea, don't you think we should sell our tea at this market? So we got our logo and packaging and everything ready, and we sold our tea at the market. And we've been making tea since then. So many of the plants that we grow in the garden are either Nigerian or based here in the South. Like I mentioned before, my dad's side of the family is mostly from Oxford. And a couple years ago, I found out that my mom's grandmother is from Grenada, which is about 45 minutes away from Oxford. So I like to think that I'm growing ancestral seeds or seeds that my grandparents and great grandparents and great great grandparents had grown when they lived here.
Seven years ago, I moved back with my family to Nigeria, and that was where I went to culinary school to learn how to cook with an emphasis on Nigerian and West African cuisine. And I'm bringing that knowledge of Africa and blending it with the African American culture that Drea has, and it's almost like that gap that was missed when the enslaved were brought here. all these vegetables, Drea and I are able to give other West Africans and other immigrants access to vegetables, simple vegetables like the efo that you can put in the ground and grow in your little garden and go, oh my gosh, this tastes like home. And we're trying to create a bridge so people can get a better visual from looking at the produce from Western Africa, and also using the produce that we grow here in the South, merging both of them to see, okay, how can we make this richer, or how can we give more access to more people from every socioeconomic status, an avenue to try the food that has become Southern food. Try not to break the fish. That's good. I think living in the South, because there's so many, especially in Mississippi, where the percentage of African Americans here is so big. I think that African Americans, to try the food of their ancestors, there's something about it all coming together that just makes so much sense, and I think that gives more diversity and more richness to the food of the South, because we eat greens, and we eat beans, and we eat rice, and we drink the red drink, and it's all, if you bring it all together and you make a West African dish and put it in one half of a table, and you put Southern food on one half of the table, they're so similar that it's just something that I think everybody should get to experience.